Good day. This is William Garvey, Editor-in-Chief of Business and Commercial Aviation Magazine. Today we're speaking with Sean McGeough, President and CEO of Nextant Aerospace, the Cleveland, Ohio remanufacturing firm that's transforming Beechjet 400s into Nextant 400 XTIs. So Sean, what's the size of the eligible 400/Beechjet fleet for the conversion, and how much of that fleet is already committed to Nextant?
Yeah, sure, Bill. There's roughly 600 operators out there in the world today that have the 400, and as of today, Nextant has delivered 50 of those airplanes around the world, and we've got roughly 20% of the fleet committed. With the sale of TMC last year for 50 aircraft and the remaining retail fleet and flight options aircraft that we have yet to deliver, we've got 20% of the fleet committed, and obviously that percentage is growing every day, every week, every month. And then the only other option, and we didn't really talk about, was the Jayhawk opportunity. Outside of those 600 airplanes, there's an additional 160 of those Jayhawks that could potentially be converted, and obviously that's a longer sales pipeline, but all the same, we're focused on trying to win that, no different than any retail customer.
The Jayhawk being the Beechjets used by the U.S. Air Force for training, right?
Correct, yeah, the T-1A Jayhawk by the Air Force.
Tell me this, and I'm sure as a salesman you can tell me at length, but these are, in many people's minds, old airplanes, so why would they suddenly be appealing after going through your remanufacturing?
You know, I think the one thing I've learned, Bill, being a new airplane salesman for so many years, I started my career in 1999 selling brand new Barons and Bonanzas, and I didn't even know they still built brand new Barons and Bonanzas when I went to go work for Beech or went to go on the interview, and it was very enlightening to see how they built these new airplanes, which quite frankly airplanes were built the same way for the last 40 years, and that airplane is now the longest running production airplane of all time. So when I came to work for Nextant, it just made sense because of what was going on in the economy, and you looked at the percentage of airplanes for sale. A 400, over 14% of the fleet is for sale. It was as high as 16% 2 years ago, and when you remanufacture an airplane, you're now taking that airplane off the market and putting it in the hands of a new owner, and sometimes the same owner, and you're not having to go to the exorbitant expense of having to upgrade your airplane while taking a beating on the resale value. So while the market will come back, I still believe there'll be a place for remanufacturing. And what it has proven to myself and everyone here at Nextant, and more importantly our customers, it's an airplane for the times because it does everything a new aircraft does, but at 50 cents on the dollar. And while the aluminum may be reused or remanufactured, the engines are new, the avionics are new, the back of the airplane is new, and that's really where the true enhancements are in airplanes today, in my opinion.
Now, the next product up is your remanufactured King Air 90. How did you come to select that as airplane number 2? And then a companion question is, are you just trying to needle Beech?
Going back to the criteria, one, we look at the installed base of airplanes. And I mentioned earlier the 400 is about 600 aircraft that we can convert. On the C90, there's about 1,500 airframes out there today that could be converted to Nextant. And I also talked about the percentage of fleet for sale. Unlike the 400, the percentage of C90s for sale is low, but at the same time, there's owners out there that may not want to spend twice the amount to upgrade to a new aircraft while taking a beating on their aircraft when it comes time to sell it. So we're not necessarily picking just on Beech. We're looking at ways to grow our market share and grow our customer base in a market segment that we've proven can sustain the hard times. So when the good times come, I believe there'll be enough market for all of us. New aircraft, used aircraft, and remanufactured aircraft.
I hope you know I was kidding about the needling Beech.
No, it's fine. I've been asked that question before, and it's fine.
Now, you mentioned starting off in this business some decades ago, and you've lived in South Africa, you've lived in Switzerland, Seattle, Chester, England, now Cleveland, Ohio. How is it that a man in your position in the general aviation manufacturing business has never lived in Wichita?
I was very smart. No. I was just very lucky. I'd rather be lucky than good. And I say that facetiously absolutely, because I spent a lot of time in Wichita, as you well imagine, delivering airplanes, and I really have a lot of time for that city. But no, I was just fortunate to always be out in the front end of the business and being able to go to new places and see new markets expanding. And at the time, the company felt it was better for me to be in front of the customer as opposed to being back at the home front. And I always had very strong teams around me where I was fortunate that I didn't have to be always in one place. I could be moving around and, more importantly, trying to generate business.
We've been speaking with Sean McGeough, head of Nextant Aerospace. This is William Garvey of Business and Commercial Aviation Magazine. Thanks for listening.